Welcome back to it. Welcome back to another tutorial where I have a very noisy green screen. I just reviewed one of my videos and it looks pretty funny. I'm sorry about this. This is the best I could do with the technology that I have. This screen is so bad, but it kind of works, so I'm kind of happy. Yeah, so this tutorial is going to be me covering destructible tiles. This has been something that was requested in the past as well, so I am going to cover it. So without much further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that we are going to need to do for this is going to edit our own tile with the destructible ones. So the first thing I need to do is to create the tiles themselves. I'm going to actually use this crate in here because it looks kind of destructible. So I'm going to copy paste it and create a new tile set. It's 18 by 18 and I'm going to multiply it by 4 as well by 4. I don't want it indexed, I want it RGBA like this. I put the crate in here and I'm going to duplicate it to the right. So this crate is going to be destructible by shooting at it twice. So I'm going to take the pen and make it a little bit cracked like this. It's kind of ugly, I know, but you'll get the gist of it. Now I'm going to use one of these metal boxes like this. I'm going to put it here and this is going to get destructed after more than one bullets. So it's going to get destroyed by doing by shooting the box 4 times. Let's make it like this. Okay, I'm going to copy paste this here and destroy it even further like this, and make yet another final one. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to add a third one, which is going to be this simple dirt block in here. And this is going to be destroyable by just one single fire being shot. I added another layer in here, but I'm going to go with only these 4 variants. So I'm going to export this destructible tiles. I think destructible is enough. Export, and I should see them in the editor. I go to my tiles in here. I'm going to drag the destructible in here. It's asking me, hey, do you want to create an atlas? This time I'm going to press yes. We see our tiles in here. I'm going to make them solid first. So like this. And I'm going to place some. So I'm going to place some of these in here. I'm going to delete all of these flying bats and some of the players. Put some of the boxes in here. As a final stop, I'm going to put the metal ones as well. Okay, like this. So the first thing I need to do is to make the player be able to shoot bullets. So I need to create a bullet object. Okay, I want to have a sprite for this bullet, and I am going to pick up this one. So this has 9 and 3 in here, no transformation, and it's going to have this sprite in here. I will want to rotate it by 90 degrees. Yeah, so it's going to the right. I need to make this character 2D. add a collision box, collision shape, create a shape, make it like this, and this is part of the bullet physics layer. So I have a bullet physics layer, so I put the bullet as part of the bullet layer, of course. Now I'm going to create a script. Bullet, okay. So for starters, this bullet is just going to have a timer. Actually, I'm going to make a timer in here. And this timer is going to be 3 seconds and auto start. And when this timer, so make sure that you click the timer, go to node, signals, timeout, is going to call a function to the bullet in here. And when that happens, it's going to call the Q3 function. So the bullet is going to be on the screen for just 3 seconds. And in here, the only thing that I'm going to do is to make sure that the velocity of the bullet is a vector to the right multiplied by speed. So the speed of the bullet at 300, maybe that's too much. We will see in a minute. I go back to my level. I'm going to test a bullet in here, see what happens, and we can see the bullet shot to the right. So I'm going to hook up this bullet to the player in the script. And I take the bullet scene in here, objects bullet, on ready. This needs to be created when the player is ready. And now I'm going to add a new button, add new action, player shoot, and it's going to be the Z button. So now in the script, I'm going to do like if input is action just pressed, player shoot, then new bullet equals bullet object dot instantiate. So we have a new bullet, and we want to add this bullet not to the player but rather to its parent, which is going to be here. Okay, it would be get parent, add child, the new bullet, and the new bullet position equals the position of the player. So now if I go here, I delete this bullet, yes, and I play the game. You can see that I'm creating bullets, and after 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, it should disappear. Yeah, maybe I was counting too fast. So yeah, the bullets do disappear. The next thing I know I need to do is to make the bullets collide with the tile set. So in order to do that, I need to go into the bullet in here, and instead of doing move and slide, I need to do move and collide. And you're going to see this is going to say like, hey, what are you trying to do with me? And if we look in the function, it says like that this function is going to return a kinematic collision to D, and it's requiring a motion and some other parameters. I encourage you to study these parameters on how they work, because they're very useful in treating different kind of collision scenarios. But for this, I'm just going to be using the motion in here. So that's going to be velocity, right? And I'm going to say like collision info equals with move and collide. And if collision info is not null, I'm going to print here collided. So now if I play the game and I shoot a bullet, oops, we see that it has collided with the tile map. I think I need to multiply this with delta. I'm not sure. Yeah, I need to multiply that with delta. I think it's actually mentioned in the documentation. Yeah, should be computed using delta. It says in here that the motion needs to be multiplied with delta always. So yeah, now we see that the bullet is going to inform us that, hey, I have collided with something. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just Q free the object. And now when I shoot bullets, they disappear because they have collided with the map. Good. They do pass through anything else which is not collidable. Okay, so now that I have some collision info, it means that we can use this information to something. So let's go into the documentation for kinematic collision 2D. And we do see that we have a function called getCollider. So let's use that. So collider equals collision info dot get collider, and let's print this collider on the screen, and also Q free afterwards, and let's see what happens. Oh, we've hit the tile map. That's awesome. In fact, if I'm going to add if I put a mob in here and I open the mob and I make sure that it's being configured correctly, in the collision tab I need to look that, okay, this mob should be in the mob layer and it should interact with the world, the player, and the bullet. So now if I play and try to shoot that, we see that nothing happened. The bullet only hit the tile map, and that's because the bullet is not interacting with the mob. And then look here that the bullet should interact with the mob in here. Now if I jump, we see that we have shot a mob. But let's get back to our collidable tiles. Getting back to the script in here, we know that we have our collider, and we say that if our collider is a tile map, then I'm going to say hit the map. We still do the Q free anyways. So I've hit the map, but if I shoot at the mob, nothing happens. So we know for certain in here that we are hitting the map. Now I need to have the coordinates of the collision where it actually happened. In order to do that, I will need to have collision position. So that would be collision info dot get position, and we print that information to the screen. We do get some values in here, but these values are actually the position where the bullet actually stopped. That's where the collision happened. In order to get the collision to influence the map, we need to actually break that tile. But first of all, we need to have the coordinate of the tile. The tile map actually has some functions in order to help that, in order to help us with that. And that particular function is called LocalToMap. And we can see that it's returning us a vector2 with integers, which are actually the indices on the position of the map, and we input a position. So that is going to be the position of the collision that happened, and we are going to get a map coordinate. So getting back to the script of the bullet, we need to have a variable map position equals collider, which is the actual map, call the LocalToMap function, use the collision position this time. So we take the position, which is a vector2, and convert it to a vector2 integer. So now we have the position on the map. Okay, so let's actually use these functions in here and see what's actually lying in there. In order to do that, I'm going to use and get the CellSource ID. I'm going to explain immediately what this means. So I'm going to use this function, and we see that it requires us to have a layer. Since we only have one layer for our tile mapping here, there's only one single layer, right? One single layer. We're going to use layer 0, and we are going to provide the coordinates, which is that particular integer that we got from the last function. So I'm going to print collider dot get CellSource ID, and we provide the layer, which is 0, and the map position. And now if we shoot a bullet, we get 6. Okay, because we shot that. If we shoot this, I get 4. Okay, what do these numbers mean? Well, if I go back into my tile map, into my tile setting here, and go to setup in tiles, I have these two. So this is ID 4, which are these tiles, and this is ID 6, which are the destructible tiles. See where we are going with this? We will need to know that, hey, this ID 6 is the ID, which means that this tile is this destructible. So I'm going to have a constant in here. Destructible equals 6, because we know it from here, and it's only that number. We can edit it manually and put something that we want, but it's 6 and we stick with 6. Okay, so now I'm going to have a tile ID, tile type ID equals this collider dot get CellSource ID to that particular position, and if this tile type ID equals to destructible, I'm going to print good tile. And we have an error. No, there's no error. So if I'm going to shoot the tile which is destructible, I'm going to get the good tile in here. But if I shoot something which is not destructible, like these bushes, I don't get any message. But I do get a message, everything else. Okay. So now I will need to have the coordinate of that tile with respect to its tile set. So if I go back to my tiles, notice that I deliberately made these tiles with the most solid part to the right and the most destructed part to the left. Okay, so if I go here in tile set, I go to select and I select one of these tiles, we are going to see that the base tile has some atlas coordinates, x equals 1, y equals 0. If I select this one, this has a coordinate of 0. This has a coordinate of 3. So each time I'm going to shoot, I'm going to change this coordinate in here to -1, -1, -1, and if it reaches 0, I'm going to destroy that tile in particular. The same goes for any other tiles that I'm going to add to this list. But the most solid part of it should be to the most right of it. So let's actually take that information in here. So atlas position equals collider, and there is a function which helps us to get those values, which is this one, get cell atlas coords. We provide the layer and the tile where it's being located on the map. So if I go and copy paste this, I'm going to put 0 map position, and we do something like this. So now I'm going to print this atlas position in here. So let's see what this results into. So if I fire, I get a 0 and 2. If I fire in this one, I get a 1 and 0. If I get to this, I get a 3 and 1, because each of them they have like different coordinates with respect to this, right? So now I just need to change the tile when I shoot into it. In order to do that, I need to test if the atlas position that x equals 0. It means that this time it should be destroyed. So collider dot erase cell. We see that the layer and the coordinates should be 0 and map position. And if I shoot the box, I shoot this, we should see that it's getting destroyed, right? But these are not getting destroyed. So I need to treat the other part of this if. Else, atlas position.x minus 1, so I decrease it. And in order to set the new atlas position, there is a function which does exactly that, which is set cell. We need the layer ID, the coordinates, the source ID, which we already know. It's the destructible, and the atlas coordinates. So let's go for that. I'm going to go with collider dot set cell. The layer is 0, the coordinates is the map position, the source ID is actually the tile ID type, which is actually destructible, but I'm going to use this anyways, and the new atlas position. And I delete this and I save, and now I get back into the game and we see that the tiles react to our shooting and they eventually get destroyed. Feel free to leave any comments in the description if you have any questions. So yeah, this was pretty much it. If you do enjoy this kind of stuff, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!